Hey, everybody, welcome to another installment of Face of the Community, where we're going to have the pleasure of speaking with Mike Argula with Watson Mortgage. And we're going to learn about a new program starting coming up in June. It's only a few days away. Now, if you like all the content you're seeing, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Mr. Mike Argula. Mike, how are you doing?
Real well, thanks, Tim, and thank you for having me today.
Not a problem. I'm excited to talk about this program coming up in June. But before we start that, let's go ahead and learn a little bit about you. So you are a lender. How long have you been doing it?
Oh gosh, I've been in the industry for 23 years, and I am currently with Watson Mortgage and have been here coming up right on 3 years.
Awesome. Awesome. It's a long time. You've seen a lot of changes in our industry, I bet.
Oh, that I have. Yeah, and they're still coming, but that's part of the excitement of the business. You're never bored.
So where else have you been doing lending at prior to Watson?
Oh, several other places, Wells Fargo, Prudential Florida Realty, which is now Berkshire Hathaway. I was an in-house lender there for many years. Before that, I was up north with Trident Mortgage Group. So many different great lenders.
Awesome. Awesome. So very experienced. So what has been the toughest part of being a lender in this current Florida environment?
Oh, gee, the current environment. Well, the toughest part is just what you said earlier. Things are constantly changing, and both on the lending side and the real estate side. So you have to make adjustments in terms of what loan products you're offering and what's available and the needs of the market. But that's also what keeps it exciting and interesting. So that would be the most challenging thing, I guess.
Yeah, and it's been a little interesting, I'm sure, this year with interest rates.
Yeah, they've taken a pretty sharp upward turn for the entire industry from the beginning of the year through now. It was most industry experts saw it coming, but it came a little quicker and a little more than what most of us predicted and hoped. But that's the reality of the market. We were in an artificially low rate environment for many years, probably got a little bit spoiled. Interest rates in the twos is kind of an anomaly. So coming back up into the fives is a little closer to what a normal market represents.
Yeah, and what ballpark are you typically seeing? I know you mentioned fives, and
Low
I know
fives right now.
whatever you say, it's going to be changed in the next 10 minutes anyway.
That is exactly accurate. It can change slightly from day to day. Sometimes it'll change during the day, but for well-qualified buyers right now, most lenders are offering rates in the low fives. That's the range that people can expect. That's right about where everything is right now.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That's definitely good to know. So without further ado, let's talk a little about this program. So what's this new program launching on, what is it, June 1st?
It is June 1st. It's being presented by Florida Housing, and it's called Hometown Heroes. And it is a new down payment assistance program. It is specifically for, well, a variety of occupations, but first responders, educators, certified and licensed medical personnel. There's actually a wide range of occupations that this program that will be eligible for this program. So that's exciting. There are many people that can qualify for this based on their current occupation.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a good program. So tell a little bit about the program. What makes it so good?
Well, as compared to prior down payment assistance programs, it's a lot of expanded opportunities. For example, the program would have a maximum income limit. They all do, and this one does too, but the maximum income limit is significantly higher than in what it has been for other programs. For example, in most of the counties in our area, the maximum allowable income is $124,350. And the income limits for some of the other programs have been significantly lower than that. In addition, maximum allowable sales price for most of the programs, again, in the counties in our area, I'm referring to Orange, Seminole, Osceola County, maximum sales price has been in the mid 400s to high 400s. This doesn't technically have a maximum sales price. It's just based on the loan amount, and it would be the loan amount for the underlying loan program. So for example, maximum FHA loan amount 420, maximum conventional loan amount 647. The amount of down payment assistance is also new and higher. That's going to be based on 5% of the loan amount, capping out at $25,000. In many cases, the down payment assistance on prior programs has capped out at or around $10,000. So based on 5% of the loan amount up to $25,000, that's usually going to be enough to cover all of the down payment and a pretty good portion of the closing costs and escrows for qualified buyers.
Wow, that's great for all those occupations like first time or first responders, teachers. So that's excellent.
Yep.
Now with the income, 'cause I know on some other first time home buyer type programs, the income was household income. Is this household income as well?
No, that's another advantage, at least for conventional products and for qualified buyers. The income is going to be based on who is on the application. So in other words, a buyer can still qualify with additional household income that would take them over that $124,350 limit. If they're a qualified conventional buyer, we're only going to look at their specific income, not the entire household income. So that's another nice advantage.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a great advantage. Now, is this money something you have to pay back? Do you get charged money for doing it?
Unfortunately, this is not the forgivable type of down payment assistance. You don't get charged any money, certainly not. This is an interest-free loan with no monthly payment requirement. It's basically what we used to call a silent second mortgage. So let's say you get a second mortgage of $25,000 that's going to go towards your down payment and closing costs. That loan balance is just going to sit on your title. It's a second mortgage. It will not grow. There is no interest. There is no monthly payment required, although of course you can choose to make monthly payments. Eventually that will have to be paid back. The same amount that you borrowed is the amount that you will have to be paid back. But when you sell the home, just as with any other second mortgage, that would have to be paid off. And in some cases, when you refinance, it would also be due at that time.
So when you refinance or you sell the home?
Correct.
Awesome. Now I know with some other programs, sometimes it's tough to close and it takes a little bit longer. Will we be running into that issue, say with you specifically in Watson Mortgage?
Definitely not with Watson Mortgage. We're very good at doing these down payment assistance loans. So with us, if our standard turn time for a loan closing is 30 days, with these programs, with these loans, still 30 days. There are some other lenders maybe who are not quite as experienced at this type of loan that might take a little longer. We definitely do not.
Okay, that's good to know now. And I've had experience with some of these other programs. Sometimes they run out of money. What could happen with this one?
That's not likely in this case. Florida Housing advised us that there's over $100 million allocated to this program based on their prior lending. That's likely to last just that initial allotment as much as 3 years. They don't know exactly what kind of volume they're going to get from this rollout, but it's not going to be running out of money anytime soon. With that initial allotment of $100 million, we're going to be set for a while.
Okay, well, that's definitely good to know. So obviously the requirement is they have to be in one of the detailed occupations, which I'll leave a link for what those are in the comment when we launch this video. But is there any other requirements of the borrower to qualify for this program?
Well, they do have to be a first-time buyer. Florida Housing defines a first-time buyer as someone who, well, of course, if they are a legitimate first-time buyer, someone who's never owned a home before, then yes, that qualifies. As long as they can have owned a home in the past, as long as they have not owned and lived in a home in the past 3 years. In other words, if they haven't owned a home in 3 years, they're a first-time buyer. Even if they have owned a home, as long as they haven't lived in it in the last 3 years, they can still qualify as a first-time buyer for this program. And one final note, veterans are exempt period. So a veteran does not have to be a first-time buyer and can still qualify for this program.
Wow, did not know that. That's awesome.
Yep, absolutely.
That's really good. What about credit scores?
Minimum credit score for this program is a 640. And like other down payment assistance type programs, the buyer will have to qualify for the underlying loan program. So they're going to have a first mortgage, which will be a conventional FHA, VA, USDA. Any of those can be linked up with this down payment assistance. So in some cases, a borrower might qualify for an FHA or VA loan with less than a 640, but to use this program, they all have to have at least a 640. Then they would have to be able to qualify for the underlying program, whatever one of those loans it might be.
Okay, well, that's definitely good to know. Anything else that you think we're missing on covering this one?
No, I think that that just about covers it. I think it would be good to supply the information about the eligible occupations. It's a nice long list. And certainly if there's some doubt or some question as to whether an occupation might qualify, that's something a borrower could ask me the question and I can find out. But typically the borrower would have to be in a position, as we said, a first responder, medical, educator, that sort of thing. And normally they're going to have to be someone who is certified or licensed in that type of position.
Yeah, I mean, that list is amazing. I believe you even said, like, say if you're a tutor, work for a tutor company, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's one of them. As long as it's a certified or licensed tutor, there were some that were quite surprising to us that met the qualifications.
Yeah.
But again, they have to be certified from a state or federal agency, and Florida Housing is pretty specific about where that certification has to come from. But it's a 4-page list of eligible occupations, so it's good.
Yeah, it's definitely a good thing. I'm very excited for this Hometown Hero program. That's for sure. Now, for those that are interested and say their credit score is not around 640, do you have any little tips that might be able to help them?
Yes, absolutely. We have a very good program to help improve credit scores, giving suggestions and ideas for borrowers to get their score up to that minimum threshold to qualify for the program. So that's something we can definitely help borrowers with.
Awesome. That's great. I'm excited to hear it. So is there anything else before we end that you would like to share?
No, I think that's about it. You covered everything I can think of to talk about. The program is rolling out. They initially said June 1st. It may be a couple days later than that. Now they're giving a range of June 1st to the 5th. But no later than June 5th, the program should be completely out and available to all qualified buyers.
Well, it's definitely coming. It's a great thing for our state of Florida, because it is only in the state of Florida, right?
Correct. Exactly right.
I want to make sure, because I know I got some people outside the state that are coming in here, which actually brings me to a question before we
Yes.
end.
Yeah.
If someone is a first-time home buyer and they're relocating to Florida, would they instantly qualify if they fall under one of those careers? Or is there like a screening period?
Yeah, I mean, a relocation would not disqualify them in any way. So yeah, if they're qualified in every other way and they're moving to Florida, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. This is great information to get out to the area.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
And I'm excited. And if you have any questions, please leave a comment. We'll find an answer. Like anything that's new in the state of Florida, or with anything coming from the state government, we literally get information, then we break it and we get new information and fix it. So there's probably going to be little bumps of certain scenarios you might not be sure of, but if you ask, we will find out the answer for you.
Absolutely.
So, but thank you guys, and thank you again, Mike. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.